Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. In this video we're going to explain what's going on in The Witcher Blood Origin, the prequel series on Netflix. There will be spoilers for The Witcher Blood Origin in this video. This is your spoiler warning. There are chapter timestamps so you can jump around the video as you wish, and if you have any questions, we missed something, or you just want to let us know what you thought of the prequel series, leave a comment below. Also, don't forget to check out our other video on the post-credit scene for Blood Origin, linked in the description below, where we also go over how the prequel series connects to The Witcher Season 3. First, let's deal with the elephant in the room. Blood Origin is not directly tied to Elder Blood, only has very loose connections to the source material, and is mostly completely made up as original content for the Netflix Witcher universe. We'll go over the connections to the source material and some of the differences, but this is basically its own thing. Blood Origin takes place 1200 years before the events of The Witcher Season 1. That means there's no Geralt of Rivia, Yennefer, or any of those people. Blood Origin tells the story of the first version of a Witcher, which the show creator dubbed a Proto-Witcher. This is not the same as Geralt and his kind. This is what came before them and eventually evolved into what we know as a Witcher in the Netflix series. Blood Origin follows 7 heroes and a few villains that play a part in the creation of the Proto-Witcher. Most of these characters don't really have much of an impact on the story, but the heroes consist of the skilled warriors Fial of Dog Clan, Skian of Ghost Tribe, Brother Death, and Meldoff. Then you have the mages Zachary and Sindral, as well as Ayla of Ravenclan, a skilled warrior and a bard that's better known as the Lark. Sindral is the mage who discovered the ability to use the monoliths to travel between realms. It's also his magic, combined with the magic of Zachary, that created the Proto-Witcher. The Lark brought music back to the continent, which united the low-born peasants. By the end of the series, she also carries the child of the Proto-Witcher, but more on that later. On the villainous side of things, you have Eredin and Avallac'h as the main people of interest. Eredin assisted in overthrowing Merwin's brother, allowing her to become Empress of Zentrea, which Witcher fans may know as Cintra, where Ciri is from in the main Witcher series. Merwin's head mage is Baelor, who took the power Sindral unlocked and used it to gain the ability to control chaos magic. Avallac'h is a well-known and powerful mage in the Witcher mythos, but at this point in time, he's still only an apprentice, barely able to open a portal. Baelor summons a monster from another world to kill the existing royal families of the 3 main elven kingdoms, as well as all the Dog and Raven clans who protect them, leaving Merwin the only remaining royal, but Baelor ruling over her from the shadows and Eredin closely assisting him. This hostile takeover actually unites all the elves in the realm. Eventually, Merwin discovers Eredin is gay and in love with a lowborn, and uses this information to blackmail him into helping her remove Baelor from power. She also uses Avallac'h as her own trustworthy mage, but since he's only an apprentice, he's unable to use the monoliths to reach other worlds, so Merwin ends up making a deal with Baelor, who of course double-crosses her and traps Eredin and several of his men in another world. The reason Merwin wanted to go to other worlds was partially noble and partially hostile takeover. She wanted to harvest crops from the other worlds while also taking over if the people resisted at all. She needed Baelor in order to use the monoliths to travel to these distant worlds. The 7 heroes must band together to stop Baelor and Merwin, but first they must find a way to stop Baelor's monster. To do this, they use a monolith to accidentally travel to another world, then accidentally trap the top half of a monster in the main world as they returned home. Apparently there's lots of accidents when creating the first Witcher. That's just peak storytelling. Anyway, Sindral and Zachary use their magic to combine the essence of the monster with Fial of Dog Clan, which creates the Proto-Witcher, who eventually kills Baelor's monster. Unfortunately, he succumbs to his own inner monster and the Lark ends up killing him, but only after they had slept together, which is how she bore his child. As the short series comes to an end, we see the conjunction of the spheres. This is an event that is talked about in the main Witcher series as well as the source material. It's when monsters and humans first appeared on the continent, as their worlds were merged with the main world of the series. This happens because Sindral destroys the main monolith. The power that was released when this happened caused a rift that merged all these worlds into one. In a world that was once mainly inhabited by elves and dwarves, there are now monsters, humans, and various other species and creatures. We even see the first humans shipwrecked on the beach. While there's a slim chance that these are Doc or Wasgor people, nomadic humans that would somewhat fall in line with the source material, this seems much more like the first landing, which is when the first 4 ships of more civilized humans appeared and eventually led to powerful human mages. There are only 2 ships here instead of the 4 from the source material, because clearly it would have been so much trouble to stay true to the source material here, but the location is the Yaruga River Delta, which is where the first landing took place. Okay, so now let's get to what really matters here. Eredin is the leader of the Wild Hunt group of elves. At the end of Blood Origin, Eredin and his men are trapped in another world by Baelor. This world is the same world glimpsed near the end of The Witcher Season 2. This is Eredin here, although he's played by a different actor between the 2 series. Eredin is looking for Ciri to either gain power for his king, or to save his world after becoming king himself, depending on where the story will pick up in Season 3. Eredin almost gets Ciri at the end of Season 2, but in the source material it's Avallac'h who brings Ciri to the king of Eredin's world, which is one of the reasons why he's an important character. We go into more detail on all of this in our post-credit scene video linked below. Taking a step back, the character at the very beginning of the series is Seanchai the Storyteller. This is a newly created character that doesn't exist in any of the source material. She is an immortal being that has the ability to travel across time and between realms, so she could show up in the main series at some point. She tasked Jaskier with telling the elves the story of the Golden Era and the Conjunction of Spheres, which will have ties to future seasons of The Witcher and gives the elves the confidence and strength they need to prevail in the coming conflict. You can actually hear Jaskier's song playing over the credits after the mid-credits scene. The girl in the tavern at the beginning of the series, who prophesies the coming events and also delivers another prophecy at the end of the series, is Ithlinne, an elven healer and oracle, who is also seen in The Witcher Season 2, although she's much older. Ithlinne prophesied about Ciri in the main series, but her final prophecy in Blood Origin is about Eredin and his men being trapped in another world, hinting at the coming Wild Hunt and the events of that world, and searching for love, which could be a nod towards Ciri and the king of the world Eredin has gone to. In the source material, the king desires to have a child with Ciri. Ithlinne also claims that one of the Lark's descendants shall carry forth the first note of a song that ends all times, and that person will then sing the last. Keep in mind, the Lark is carrying the child of the Proto-Witcher, so what this means is that a Witcher will start the process that could bring the world to an end, and then likely die saving the world. This hints at the events of the main Witcher series, likely Season 3, and could even be tied to the Wild Hunt, with Geralt being the Lark's descendant who endangers the entire world, probably while protecting Ciri, then dies trying to save the world, which allows Henry Cavill to depart the series. Some of the big differences between Blood Origin and the source material are the dates. The Conjunction of Spheres is supposed to take place 1500 years before the events of the series, while the events of Blood Origin are only actually 1200 years in the past. In addition, the first landing of the humans takes place about 700 years before the Witcher series, not 1200 like in Blood Origin. Of course, how the Witchers are made is completely different. In the source material, Witchers are created by human mages experimenting long after the Conjunction of Spheres, but going by Blood Origin, the Proto-Witcher was created by elven mages before the Conjunction, with an elven woman carrying what will likely become the first real Witcher. How that transitions into human Witchers, I guess we'll just have to see. Perhaps this will just give human mages a blueprint to work off of, but for now it certainly seems as though this is a stark contrast from the source material. Eredin is also very different. In the source material, the ancestral homeworld of the elves was destroyed, and they fled to 2 different worlds. The world of the continent that we all know and love, and the world where the Wild Hunt exists. In Blood Origin, Eredin was from the main world of the continent, and merely gets trapped in the other world by Baelor. At the moment, that world seems pretty barren, but in the books it has a sprawling race of elves. We'll see if we meet any other inhabitants of that world in Season 3. So what did you think of The Witcher Blood Origin? Did it stray too far from the source material? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our video on the post-credit scene linked in the description. For now, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves The Witcher.